Howdy, y'all. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. Recently, I came across the absolutely beautiful city of Dubrovnik in modern day Croatia. Historically, Dubrovnik was known until the 19th century as Ragusa. Today, we will look through the oldest known photographs of this miraculously built city on the coast, and we will briefly dabble into the currently accepted history of this once free state. Ragusa was inhabited, we're told, by Illyrian tribes since ancient times. However, the official founding of the city took place in roughly the 7th century by displaced Romans, with Ragusa meaning rocky island. Ragusa was considered one of the Dalmatian city-states. It's been proposed after excavations in 1996, so rather recently, that Ragusa was founded by the Illyrians as a halfway station between two larger settlements. However, excavations in 2007 reveal that by Byzantine times, Ragusa was rather large and contained one of the most extensive basilicas in all of Europe. After the fall of the Ostrogoth kingdom, Ragusa was indeed absorbed by the Byzantine Empire. In the 12th and 13th century, Ragusa became a commercial outpost for the fledgling Serbian state and began to grow rapidly after a treaty signed by Stefan I crowned. The Republic of Ragusa received its own statutes as early as 1272, which among other things codified Roman practices and local customs. Following the Crusades, Ragusa came under the sovereignty of Venice and continued to grow. However, a massive fire was said to have ravaged Ragusa on August the 16th, 1296, destroying a majority of the ancient city. A new, more Venetian urban plan was then developed. With the peace treaty of Zadar in 1358, Ragusa became an independent vassal state of the Kingdom of Hungary. Ragusa further grew as her trade connections with Europe, especially Italy, brought her into the full swing of the Western Renaissance. From roughly the 14th century through the year 1808, Ragusa ruled itself as a self-governing free state, although from 1382 through 1804, Ragusa paid annual tribute to the Ottoman Sultan. In the late 1400s and the early 1500s, we're told Ragusa was one of the intellectual centers of Europe, when its maritime empire rivaled that of Venice. Now let's get into some firsts. According to this mainstream narrative, Ragusa pioneered many aspects of the culture which still resonate to modern times. The first medical services in Ragusa began operation in the year 1301, with the first pharmacy, which incredibly still operates today, opening in the year 1317. The Ragusa Almshouse opened in 1347, with the first official hospital opening 30 years later in 1377. Now, a major key to understanding the history of Ragusa, the Balkans, and indeed the greater history of Europe can be found in weighing the importance of the 1418 banning of slave trade in Ragusa. The trade at this time was mostly of other Balkan peoples. Soon after the trade was banned in 1418, the first orphanage opened in Ragusa in 1432, and the population began to skyrocket. By 1438, a magnificent aqueduct and advanced water supply system was constructed in Ragusa, which included two very large public fountains and numerous mills that were built along the waterways. The city was ruled by two Latin Dalmatian city councils. In written documents, Ragusa originally used Latin, followed by Italian in the 15th century. However, the spoken language of Ragusa was said to be Dalmatian, which was an amalgamation of sorts of Croatian and Italian. In the decades to come, Ragusa, or Dubrovnik as it would later become known, was the centerpiece for a growing cradle of Croatian culture. We're told the maritime fleet of Dubrovnik, during the years it was a free state, for example, was second to none and founded settlements in India and America. One of its keys to success was not conquering, but trading and sailing under one unified white flag, which I found to be so interesting. Dubrovnik was also said to be home to many migrations of conversos, or converts, those from Spain and Portugal who converted to Christianity in the 14th and 15th centuries. In May of 1544, for example, Dubrovnik was still recorded as receiving entire ships full of these converts. All the massive growth of Dubrovnik or Ragusa was abruptly put to an end when in the year 1667 a massive earthquake leveled the city. As one of the three largest earthquakes to ever hit this region, we're told the 1667 Dubrovnik earthquake destroyed over 75% of the city's buildings. On April 6, 1667, at roughly 8 in the morning, a massive rumble which lasted only roughly 15 seconds struck the region of Ragusa. Over 5,000 residents of Ragusa passed away, with the quake being a 9 on the European macroseismic scale. However, the quake was so large in these brief moments that at least 37 settlements in the area were also destroyed. This forced Ragusa to sell 2 strips of land to the Ottoman Empire in 1699. These pieces of land eventually became Bosnia and Herzegovina. The quake essentially laid waste to Ragusa, the capital of the Republic of Ragusa, leading to the rapid decline of that kingdom. Remarkably, we're told Dubrovnik played a small yet critical role in the American Revolution, apparently supplying maritime soldiers. In 1806, Dubrovnik was occupied by Napoleonic forces of France. Almost immediately after the beginning of the French occupation, Russian troops and their allies marched on Dubrovnik, still known then as Ragusa. Ragusa eventually fell to over 3,000 Russian cannonballs, who destroyed most of the fortified city in this siege. By 1808, the Republic of Ragusa was officially amalgamated into the Napoleonic Kingdom of Italy, and the title of Duke of Ragusa was created. After 7 years of French occupation, as Austria re-entered the fray, the people of Ragusa took this as the push they needed to fight back. On June 18, 1813, the people of Ragusa joined the British Army, forcing the surrender of multiple French garrisons throughout the region. The city of Ragusa was again laid to siege in 1814, and with the French on their last legs, the British and the troops of Ragusa were joined by the Austrian enclave. Initially considered allies, once the French were defeated in the area, the Austrians actually attempted to take control of Ragusa and the entire Adriatic coast. The 1815 Congress of Vienna established the Kingdom of Dalmatia, considered to be the oldest Croatian political institution, of which Ragusa is a major part. Although a vassal of Austria, when Austria-Hungary fell in 1918, Dubrovnik became a major city in the kingdom of the Serbs, Croats, and Slavs, later renamed Yugoslavia. The electric tram service ran in Dubrovnik from 1910 through 1970. In 1939, Dubrovnik became a part of the newly created Banate of Croatia. In World War II, this area was occupied by the Axis to form a puppet state, also named Croatia. After the war, Dubrovnik officially became part of SR Croatia within SFR Yugoslavia. In 1991, Croatia declared independence from Yugoslavia, forming the Republic of Croatia. Dubrovnik, ancient Ragusa, is today a UNESCO World Heritage Site and may be best known in the mainstream from numerous appearances on the TV show Game of Thrones. However, clearly from these first photographs and from the narrative that we've just gone over, the history here and the architecture is so much more important than anything that the mainstream narrative can really place on this location. We can see architecture here that is unmatched really around the world, architecture that is unique yet familiar, and this is one place that I absolutely wanted to share with you. So I would love to hear what you think about the oldest photographs of Dubrovnik down below, and if you have anything else to add to the narrative, I would love to hear that as well. I look forward to hearing from you, and I can't wait to talk to you on the next video, but stick around because we do have many more photographs to go through in this collection. So save any image that stands out to you, and we will talk more on the next one.